Hello, myself Sunil R Nair. Here, basically, we are talking about one of the topic that is the World Bank. Basically, one person is discussing with the Sunil. Assume that is my person, and that in front of me, basically, the World Bank. Basically, that person is sitting. He told that basically, why basically you are not getting the job. So that discussion basically that is ongoing. Then basically the discussion basically reached up to this. That is basically this thing basically which I am going to discuss. That basically is mostly who this project basically who whichever company basically is going to create, they are going to create something new in the market. New means totally new. It can be basically convert to product, anything basically that is possible. So example is like this. By definition I will not explain. Through example basically it's very easy to explain. So like this basically he told that there is one chartered accountant person. Then he told that exactly there is one person. He told that basically he is doing the study. Then he told that exactly he is doing the study. Exactly he is doing the study. He basically cleared the chartered accountancy in one first attempt only. So according to that, basically as per the percentage, basically his body energy might have generated, and according to body generated, the human needs 100% is going to create, right? So like this, according to that, basically percentage which is got and the human needs basically which is going to generate. According to that, the business basic that basically converted into the business basically. His body actually converted into business. According to this, basically, certain medicine company basically told that basically we can hire this person basically because in medicine industry there is no lack of errors basically. So he told that basically we will do one thing, we will hire that person in our energy creation purpose. So this is one side. Then another side is one new city basically got created, right? This is 100% will be the new product for the any of the software company. And basically whoever is going to do this product basically that is he's going to launch some new dangerous, not dangerous basically, but very future product basically. Very means very far future products. So he will be 100% going to be a very big future companies also. That also basically you can say. So then basically one city basically is going to create. In this city basically they have, do you know what they have done? They've taken each and every energies of the education also. Basically. But they have not taken one certification. Here basically will not take the example of any subject, any certification. They told that basically we are not taking this certification in this college. Not a single college basically in this city. So now basically what happens? They are basically doing the education, but they are not having that certification energy in that city, and that city basically does not have the syllabus also basically. So according to that, basically the city has created. That means basically when the city was created, that time the certification energy basically for certification energy basically which, for example, any certification, any basically you can say any course or any degree basically create any degree basically we takes, that time the energy base gets generates from the source of the location basically. For example, one energy syllabus basically contain 1,000 books, and 1,000 books basically is created from the 1,000 city. Like this basically that one degree basically was one certificate was ignored. This was the basically one thing basically. So city was created on the base of ignoring that certificate. Like this basically they ignored that certificate. Now basically what happened, around 2 to 3 lakh people basically went to outside where basically they got some job. The population of the city is basically 5 crore. Assume that. Now basically what happened, they got the degree but they don't have that energy basically which certification basically they have ignored that in the city. Now basically what happened, Now what happened? Just see. They went to another cities. They got the job. There basically they connected with those people basically who basically was having the certification. That was one thing, right? So due to that, basically what happened? Due to that, basically their body also basically connected with those group basically, right? Now basically they told that basically that is one thing. Then basically what happened? They basically had a few certain level of foods basically according to that certification. For example, one syllabus actually took 1,000 cities to creation, and that 1,000 city basically created 1,000 city basically created 15 types of 15 16 types of human needs. They eaten that food. Then again basically they eaten that food. That time basically they were getting the energies, right? But when they basically came to that city basically, they were not getting that energy. Why? Because the power company was not having that energy, because in that city basically they have not introduced that certification. So due to that, basically what happened, that energy basically which was not getting generated, that basically generated into that basically what happened, the human body was the 1 crore people basically, sorry, 2 to 3 crore people, 3 to 3 lakh people basically, their basically energy was not generating of that particular certification. Now basically that certification people basically whose energy was not getting generated, that basically blood cells basically energy was generated basically till now, basically the power supply was getting, until now the that blood cells basically of that particular foods basically was active. When they reached to that city basically, that time basically they were not getting the data basically. This is one thing. This is one side basically, right? Now basically one basically person basically what he has done, he basically introduced one 100 books basically, and that was actually the certification. That actually was the certification of one certificate and one syllabus basically, and the 1,000 city basically, which has not created yet. That was basically totally new degree basically. He basically was the one person basically who was having this who was basically having this 1,000 books and basically 100 books, and then basically he has created it, right? Now basically what happened, the entire environment basically got generated in that cities basically, which basically says that basically this type of thing basically does not exist in the environment basically. Due to that, basically what happened, the new basically disease started spreading in the environment basically, because that syllabus was not there, and people was connecting to that particular group that particular person. Like suddenly basically what happened, that person basically 100 book created person basically died due to some reason basically. Now basically what happened, that disease basically got spread very fast basically, and the whole world basically got into that disease. Now somebody basically he basically died also. Now basically see what are the things basically happened. Now basically what happened, the energy group basically tried to find out basically what actually was that. Then they basically diagnosed that, they tracked that basically there was one person basically who was having some books basically, that is the 100 books, and he told that basically this 100 books is going to create one certification, and basically he basically entire done everything, each and every plant was designed, each and every certification was designed. He told that he was very he told that basically 1,000 cities are basically supposed to create like this, entire plan was basically with his computer or basically his laptop or basically in his book basically somewhere. So they tracked that books, they tracked that computer, they tracked each and everything by tracking this disease basically. The energy company are up to that level basically. They are up to the experts basically. So then basically they do what they done. They try to finish this energy. They basically tried to finish this energy, but they were not able to. Reason? That time basically somebody's satellite group also basically connected to that person basically when he was designing that certificate. That time he also basically activated that energy basically, because he or she basically whoever basically they basically might have liked that certification, they liked that education, so they also actually activated that time basically something basically happened. And assume that he also died also, and we take one example of he basically not died also. Like this basically they reached to that person, and then or basically they reached to that certification books basically. Like this basically they told that basically this person was activated by satellite group also, so we can't basically kill that, we can't finish this energy basically. So just see basically how the things basically are basically are connecting. Because when we was basically designing the certification and the thousand books, that time basically he was getting the energy from set of satellites basically. Due to that basically he got that the certification got activated in the environment. They tried to finish that certification, but that was not. So they literally basically told that basically to create this medicine basically we need to find this certification energy, we need to create that thousand city also. Then they very fast basically created this thousand cities. And then basically they told that basically yeah basically like this basically we launched that certification also, we launched the medicine also, and like this basically things basically as well. Like from this basically we got that basically that the certification was basically the disease. And when the certification basically converted into the physical creation basically, that is the energy basically, so physical energies, that are the thousand cities, then it become disease, then it become basically medicine. Like this basically, like this the whole world is basically created. Like this basically the whole world basically is created. So one of the person basically told that basically do we have basically this type of future plan basically for the reason basically he told that basically this certification was the future plan basically, but nobody was able to track that future plan basically. Nobody was basically tracked, nobody basically nowadays basically was able to track that future plan. So like this basically he told that basically if the energy power company or basically the group basically might have tracked this certification, then if they basically might have liked that, then basically they can directly launch the certification, and then basically the disease basically might not have spreaded to whole world. And like this basically the medicine also basically might have created. Like this basically one person told that each and every education basically in this world basically are disease, and medicine basically are created of that particular each and every energies. And like this basically the education basically which was disease actually that converted into medicine. So like this basically he told that each and every education converts into first disease, then basically it converts to medicine. And if basically the environment basically groups are ready, then basically they will not spread this disease, and they will give the medicine basically. So like this basically he told that basically if this is spreaded to the environment, that means satellite groups have already activated the thing basically. So like this basically he told that basically this is also one of the future product basically you can say for the certificate for the software industry basically. They told that basically which type of basically education can be created by one person basically, up to what level basically he can think, and up to what level basically, for example chartered accountant degree basically, it's might possible that higher than chartered accountant degree also basically can be prepared by someone basically. Because if you are doing certain level of task basically, then basically it might possible that one person basically can introduce the new certificate that is higher than the chartered accountant. So in accountant basically the in accounts department basically the chartered accountant degree basically is the most powerful degree basically you can say. And there is no higher degree than this basically. Same way basically in certification in software industry basically people says that project management plan is the highest degree basically. It might possible that higher than that degree also basically somebody can introduce. Like this basically he told that basically in this world basically there is no project manager basically to create that 5 crore things basically. There is no project manager, so it if anybody if any someone person basically introduce that project manager post in this way basically, for example 5 crore people basically is 5 crore people basically has to create. For that basically what are the plans basically need to create. So like this basically there is no project manager basically. So like this if anybody introduce this project manager in the software industry basically. So that would be new certification basically. That will be new certification, and that is going to create one new certification, that is basically that would be the higher than the project manager project management plan basically. So it would be higher than the project management plan, that basically Pune Hinjawadi basically have the PMP plan, PMP certification basically. So they basically there they basically can introduce this higher basically degree. So like this basically he told that basically uh, which education will be the uh, for example each and every education basically can be converted into the higher education from that basically. For example, he told that basically chartered accountant degree, it can be that possible that somebody basically creates more higher degree than chartered accountant. So education degree basically, who the education degree basically it's in the environment basically. Education degree is in the environment, right? Basically, chartered accountant degree basically he's reading the books basically. The chartered accountant syllabus basically has created. He's basically created 1,000 cities. From 1,000 cities, he's getting the energy. That means his chartered accountant degree basically is in environment, right? Each and every banking industry basically is in environment basically. So like this basically he told that basically in this environment basically if any nuclear power company, or basically you can say the sun solar system basically, which basically has introduced basically, if they basically say that basically from this degree basically if we can find basically some higher degree, and that can be basically converted into the certification, so that basically this can be converted into the certain level of ideas basically. So basically he told that basically if there is any mechanism or basically any solar system basically says that basically we can find the future education system basically, that is future education certification system basically, future education certification system, that is the higher degree of the chartered accountant. So basically if they can introduce this system basically with the help of the set of energies basically, for example chartered accountant basically degrees there basically. So if the sun solar system basically, that is basically the sun solar system basically, if they track that basically chartered accountant degree, and basically if they do the certain level of process, and if they try to find out basically that is there any basically higher certification degree higher than the chartered accountant basically. Like same way basically in this world basically there are many degrees like B, after B basically the ME is there. After ME basically there is no degree basically. If anybody tries to find out basically is there any higher degree than ME is there, B Tech basically is there. So M Tech is basically higher degree. If anybody is any software basically, I am talking about the software basically. That software preparation basically. That software preparation basically I am talking about. So like this, if anybody software basically can prepare that, is there any higher degree than the M Tech basically? Same way basically the education certification higher degree basically. So this is basically the future basically, future plan basically. If any software company basically tries to find this basically, the certification of the future certification, that is the higher certification of each and every certification which exists in the world. So in next level basically we are going to discuss little bit more about the future plans, who basically decided by set of groups, and they spends the money also, and each and everything basically they do the plan basically according to that basically the business industry, sales industry, if each and every software industry basically everything basically works according to that. So in next part basically we are going to discuss this only. Each and this everything is connecting to the world bank.